Namaste. Welcome to my YouTube channel Mastering Public Procurement. In this festive season, as a gift, I bring to you an entirely new topic: how is public procurement different from private sector? There is very little available research on this topic, and whatever I will speak will be based on my own personal research through the experience during the last 50 years. What is common between public procurement and private sector procurement is the core principles of professionalism. The 5 R's of procurement are well known: right quantity, right quality, right price, right time and place, and right source. These 5 R's are expressed in various literature differently, but the core requirements are the same. And these are equally applicable in private sector procurement as well as in public sector procurement. But the differences start from the buzzwords which are applicable to public procurement, like level playing field, non-discrimination, competition, professionalism is of course common, effectiveness, non-arbitration, non-arbitrariness. These 35-40 connected, overlapping, interchangeable adjectives have been grouped by me into 5 countervailing principles. These are professionalism, which is common with private sector procurement; transparency; horizontal objectives; extended legal liabilities; and multiple accountability. Multiple accountability in turn leads to a transactional principle in public procurement, due to which each transaction is evaluated on its own without referring to the context of overall results. We will discuss all of these one by one. Professionalism principle is common between private sector procurement and public sector procurement. It constitutes 4 sub-principles. Number 1 is economy, which means that the expenditure on procurement should be just right and proper for the occasion and the requirement. Efficiency means that the procedure used for procurement should be proportionate and appropriate for the cost and complexity of the procurement. Effectiveness means that the procurement objectives are delivered effectively and with value of money. Integrity means good governance, control of corrupt, fraudulent, and collusive practices, etc. This professionalism principle is common between private sector procurement and public sector procurement. We start the differences from the transparency principle, which means 5 different sub-principles. One of them is openness and lack of secrecy, which is achieved by clear publication of opportunities and results in an open manner. Fairness is achieved by providing a level playing field and through a fair evaluation and award criteria and timelines which are reasonable. Equality is achieved by giving equal opportunity in a non-discriminatory and non-arbitrary manner of all the participating bidders. Information, when provided, is to be simultaneous and symmetric. Competition is achieved by unrestricted participation without any barriers to any group of bidders. Appeal rights is for bidders to raise their grievances at appropriate forum, so that if they feel that they have been not treated well, they can raise their grievances. Horizontal objective principle achieves the aspirations of many stakeholders of the public procurement. The stakeholders can be citizens, taxpayers, the electorate, elected officers, the management of the public procurement, and social activists. These objectives may be sometimes conflicting. For example, a citizen may want an efficient metro service in a city, but at the same time he may want that the fare should be very low. So these principles are many times countervailing. Public procurement also supports broader social and policy objectives of the government. The government uses public procurement policy as a policy tool to support these social and policy objectives. These may include the government's desire for job creation, economic growth, ensuring tax and environmental compliance, strengthening the local industry, and supporting the disadvantages in regions, sections, enterprises like small and medium industries, startup industries, and stand-up industries, which in India is the buzzword for entrepreneurs from weaker sections. Such horizontal objectives are not a burden in private sector procurement. Extended legal liability principle applies to public procurement and not to the private sector procurement. Private sector procurement, of course, is liable to mercantile law like Contract Act, Sales of Good Acts, etc. But besides these, which are applicable to public procurement also, there are other laws which are applicable exclusively to public procurement. The Constitution of India gives certain fundamental rights to its citizens. Courts have interpreted these fundamental principles to circumscribe public procurement within certain limits. Courts have said that a citizen's right to equality before law applies to public procurement, and all the bidders have therefore necessarily to be treated equally. Similarly, right to profession is also similarly enshrined in public procurement case law. International treaties are applicable to public procurement like Most Favored Nation, Government Procurement Agreement, World Trade Organization legislations. These apply to public procurement but not to private sector procurement. In India, at present, there is no trade treaty which includes public procurement clauses. Public procurement law is available in many countries, not in India as yet, but in India, 5 different states have already promulgated public procurement law, so that is applicable to public procurement also. Then there are plethora of transparency and anti-corruption laws. Lokpal and Lokayukt Act, which is an ombudsman act in India, Whistleblowers Protection Act, which protects the whistleblowers from any punitive action, Right to Information Act for the citizens to ask for information about public procurement. Code of Criminal Procedure also includes certain sections which deal with corruption in public procurement. Similarly, there is a whole complete act, Prevention of Corruption Act, which deals with corruption in governance and public procurement in particular. There are agencies like Central Vigilance Commission, which are enabled under the Central Vigilance Commission Act, and Central Bureau of Investigation, which is enabled under the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. While Central Vigilance Commission has Chief Vigilance Commissioners in each organization to oversee the public procurement along with other management functions. Central Bureau of Investigation has police powers of arrest, seizure and raids, which they use for the public procurement miscarriage also. The last principle is multiple accountability principle, which means although the private sector procurement officials are answerable to their own management and maybe to their holding company, but public procurement officials are accountable to several official bodies. Many of them are not on the same page and may act independent of each other. A public procurement official is answerable to his organizational management and to the controlling ministry of that organization. They are in addition answerable to Parliament and parliamentary committees. Many questions can be raised in Parliament by the elected representative about public procurement. There are parliamentary committees like Public Accounts Committee and Expenditure Committee, etc. in central government as well as in the state, which do audit of many government expenditure including public procurement and give reports to the Parliament, and PSC conducts investigation if anything wrong is found. Central Vigilance Commission, we have discussed, carries out the vigilance investigations, and Central Bureau of Investigation does the police investigations in public procurement. Comptroller and Auditor General of India is the supreme audit institution of India which carries out audit of various government expenditures, including public procurement. As we have discussed, they then place their report to the PSC in the Parliament, which does investigation and examination of the cases. We have also discussed judicial accountability due to extended legal principle beyond the mercantile law. Therefore, the judicial review is done in many of the public procurement cases if the bidders complain to the court. Public procurement officer is therefore obliged to operate under intense public scrutiny from all the above agency, and in addition the civil society, media, non-government organizations also keep on observing the public procurement activities, and many times they raise issues through the parliament or in media. This multiple accountability principle leads to the transactional principle, which means in private sector each transaction is evaluated holistically in the context of long-term overall results. So if one transaction has slight demerits, it is taken in, it is seen in the context of an overall good performance during the year or by the public procurement, by the officer concerned throughout his career. In public procurement, each individual transaction is evaluated on its own independently without any reference to the overall results of the procurement during the year or by the official during his career. A public procurement official may have saved millions of dollars during his career in public procurement, but if in particular transaction he commits a mistake of a few $1,000s, then he is called into question and he is asked to explain why he did that. There may be punitive action based on that individual transaction. This investigation of individual transaction leads to compliance becoming a predominant issue in public procurement rather than the outcomes. This also inculcates a fear of experimentation and fear of innovation in the public procurement official. They are not able to take care of the larger picture, and this leads to a myopia on transaction to transaction. Training of procurement officers in private sector and in public sector is tailored to these differences in both public procurement and private sector procurement. So we have seen that how the 4 extra principles out of the 5 principles lead to the 6th transactional principle, which is a great burden on public procurement officials and requires extra care and extra skills in public procurement officials. So this is all about the differences between private sector procurement and public sector procurement. Thank you for watching this video and my channel Mastering Public Procurement. Please subscribe to this channel to encourage me. Press the bell icon so that you get timely notifications of that, and share this with all your friends who are interested in public procurement. Thank you and have a very nice Christmas and Happy New Year 2022. Thank you. Come back again to my channel.